This video will walk you through the setup of your Project turntable. Here we can see a factory installed and aligned Ortofon 2M red cartridge, and we can also see on the platter the belt, counterweight, and anti-skating weight. We are going to go through all of the steps of installing and adjusting these three parts so that we can listen to some music. So the first thing that we're going to do is attach the belt to the motor and the subplatter. So we're going to hook this over the top rung on the motor, and that will be for 33 1/3. By lowering it to the bottom notch, it'll be ready for 45s, and we'll just lift it back up onto the top notch to listen to 33s. So next we'll install the felt mat and platter over the center spindle. Before we proceed to installing the counterweight and anti-skating weight, we have to remove the stylus cover. There are textured grips on the front and back of the 2M red that, when lightly pinched, will allow its easy removal. Next, we need to examine the counterweight. The important thing to note about this piece is that the front and back are able to be moved independent of one another. This is going to be very important in the next step. You can see that the front and the back move freely while remaining attached. Now we're going to install and adjust the counterweight on the arm. The first step is to put the lift lower in the down position. Next, we'll carefully lift the arm out of the cradle. Since we've removed the stylus cover to properly balance the arm, we need to be mindful that the needle does not touch anything, as it is very delicate. Now, while gently holding the front of the arm, we will slide the counterweight onto the back of the arm. At this point, we don't need to worry about where the number gauge is set. Rotating the counterweight will slide it back and forth on the arm. Essentially, we're playing a game of teeter-totter with the goal of having a balanced arm that is floating free and level. Not enough and too much will be pretty obvious. The painted line on the side of the arm is a good visual gauge of when you have achieved the right balance. Now we can return the arm to the safety of the cradle. Next up is the step where most people run into the confusion. As you'll remember, the two pieces of the counterweight move independent of one another. Right now, we have balanced the arm so that it has 0 grams of tracking force, but the gauge does not reflect this. What we want to do is hold the rear piece steady while turning the front section so that 0 is lined up with the small white line on the arm bearing. So, holding the rear, we turn the front to the 0'd position, which matches the amount of force our balanced arm currently has. Now the final step. We rotate the whole counterweight by turning the rear piece in a counterclockwise direction until we get to 1.75 grams, which is the downforce recommended for the Ortofon 2M red cartridge installed on this turntable. Now to install the anti-skating weight, otherwise known as the little piece of fishing line with the weight dangling from it. First, we'll put the stylus guard back on for safety. Being careful to never touch the metal cantilever, we hook the front of it over the cartridge and gently push the rear up until it clicks into place. This prevents any accidents where the needle might hit the platter and become damaged. The purpose of the anti-skating weight is to offset the natural centrifugal force of the spinning platter and ensure the needle sits square in the groove. There is a small pole sticking out from the rear of the arm bearing that has 3 notches in it. We're going to hook the loop of the anti-skating weight over the middle of these 3 notches. Now we just drape the line over the cradle located next to the arm. Once again, gently pinching the stylus guard from front to back to remove it. Now we can flip the turntable on with the power switch located on the bottom left corner. Time to listen to records.